stuck in endless loops of what-ifs. Elara was paralyzed by career choices. Discover how a simple act of gardening unlocked a powerful truth. This isn't just a story, it's a revelation. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, but from doing. Discover how taking action, no matter how small, can transform confusion into purpose. Elara sat on the edge of her childhood bed, surrounded by career pamphlets and half-finished online applications. The walls, once covered with posters of her favorite bands, now seemed to close in on her, cluttered with sticky notes listing pros and cons. The weight of decision pressed heavily on her shoulders, trapping her in a loop of overthinking. Weeks passed in a blur of endless research and conversations. But instead of feeling closer to an answer, Elara felt more lost than ever. Her mind raced with every what-if, every fear of making the wrong choice, paralyzing her with indecision. One drizzly Saturday morning, trying to escape his suffocating thoughts, Elara agreed to help her neighbor, Mrs. Owens, clear out her overgrown garden. Elara had never gardened a day in her life, but she figured that physical work might quiet her busy mind. When she stepped outside, the scent of damp earth and fresh air was a balm. She knelt down and pulled one stubborn weed, then another. She clipped a dry, broken branch and, with Mrs. Owens' guidance, dug a small hole. She carefully planted a tiny seedling. She wasn't worrying about how the garden would look in the end, or if she was doing it perfectly. She was just focused on the task right in front of her. Time slipped away as she worked with her hands. Mud squelching between her fingers and the sun peeking through gray clouds. When she finally stood back, the area where she had cleared was no longer a jumble of confusion, but a small, neat patch full of possibility. In that moment, Elara felt a surprising sense of clarity, as if the garden had spoken a silent truth to her. She had been trying to map out her whole future without taking even the smallest step. But just like gardening, career decisions didn't require perfect knowledge or certainty from the start. They required action. Inspired, the next day she deleted every half-finished application except one for an entry-level job at the local nursery. It wasn't her dream job, not yet, but it was real, tangible, and something she could do now. Like pulling that first weed, it was a step forward. Elara realized then that clarity wouldn't come from endless thinking, but from doing. With her hands in the soil and her heart open to the journey, she finally felt ready to grow one small action at a time. Elara started her new job at the local nursery with a mix of excitement and trepidation. She knew nothing about plants, but she was eager to learn. Her first task was to water the rows of potted plants. She carefully filled her watering can and walked slowly, making sure each plant received just the right amount of water. As she watered, she noticed the different shapes and textures of the leaves, the delicate colors of the petals, and the unique scents of each plant. She was beginning to see the beauty in the details. Days turned into weeks, and Elara learned more and more about plants. She learned their names, their needs, and their unique personalities. She started to give advice to customers, helping them choose the right plants for their homes and gardens. She found joy in sharing her knowledge and helping others connect with nature. One day, Mrs. Owens came to the nursery looking for a special plant for her birthday. Elara helped her choose a beautiful rose bush with fragrant pink blossoms. As Mrs. Owens thanked her, Elara realized how far she had come. She was no longer the confused and indecisive young woman who had sat on the edge of her bed surrounded by career pamphlets. She had found a sense of purpose and fulfillment in her work, and she was finally on a path that felt right for her. Elara knew that her journey was just beginning, but she was no longer afraid. She'd learned that clarity comes with action, and that even the smallest step forward can lead to great things. Months passed, and Elara continued to work at the nursery, learning all she could about plants and gardening. She discovered a passion she never knew she had. She enrolled in a local horticulture course, eager to expand her knowledge and skills. She loved learning about soil science, plant propagation, and garden design. She started experimenting with her own garden, planting different flowers and vegetables and creating beautiful and unique landscapes. She shared her creations with friends and neighbors, bringing joy and beauty to their lives. Elara's skills and knowledge continued to grow, and she eventually started her own landscaping business. She designed and maintained gardens for homes and businesses, transforming ordinary spaces into beautiful and thriving landscapes. She hired a team of talented gardeners and designers, creating jobs and opportunities for others in her community. Elara never forgot the lesson she learned in Mrs. Owens' garden. She continued to take small actions every day, moving forward one step at a time. And as she grew, her clarity grew with her, guiding her on her path and helping her create a life filled with purpose, passion, and beauty.